So we're talking about bombings, shootings, all the things going on that never happened before. When I was a kid, nobody ever considered bombing or shooting and then the stories don't make sense. Let's just go back to 9/11. Inside job. No way does an airplane blow down a building that big. Even Donald Trump saw a bomb that was placed in the lower part of that building to test it and blew out all these pillars in that building, and still the building stood tall. He said it was the strongest, 9/11 was the strongest building ever erected. And everybody knew it. So it was a display of directed energy weapons and power of the United States. They were showing the other nations what they've got. It was like if you got a 10-inch penis, you just whip it out and you show women, you go, look, here it is, look what I got. And that's exactly, kind of like George Carlin, you know, let's see whose penis is bigger. You remember that comedy skit he did? Okay, so they were showing each other the size of their phallic symbol, the Twin Towers. Okay, Twin Towers also is the twin souls. This is duality, the goats and the sheep. Building 7 fell and nothing even hit it. The story, none of it makes sense. And it's like God and Satan saying, hey, if you believe the official story, you're part of my kingdoms. God's saying, if you don't believe it, you're a conspiracy theorist, and conspiracy theorists go to heaven. Okay? Because conspiracy theorists are just like apostates. They separate themselves from a fictional reality. They're like the parable of the cave in Plato. They actually walk out of the cave. They're like the humans that go from dead zombies, which is your driver's license and your birth certificate that claims you're dead. Even the church puts ashes on your forehead, and they make you drink blood, which is against religion. By the way, you need to read the Bible. And they get you to eat the body of Christ like a cannibalistic vampire. And then they put ashes on your forehead, and they know that you're dead. Your driver's license says that you're a corporate-owned employee, you're dead. A corpse is a dead entity. You're a corpse. And what is a corporation? It's a group of corpses. Just like St. Tammany Parish here where I live. It's a parish. It's a group of people that are going to perish because it's controlled by the Roman Catholic Church. Okay? And we know about the Romans, how they killed Christ. We know about that. If you go study history, the Romans killed Christ. Roman Catholic Church, they're the central banking system. Hello, people. Ravenous wolves in sheep's clothing. It's just like the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he goes and runs in a Catholic church and Satan's in there going, what do you don't think? This is my house. This is my house. I built this house. This is a temple that's built by the hands of man, just like the Bible says. The real temple is your body, and that's your free will. And that's your critical thinking skills. What is the difference between a conspiracy theorist? That's what they call us anyway. Or a con? We know that we're being conned. That's why the word con is in it. We know that we're being conned. So Congress, we know that they're conning us, right? So we just have eyes to see what you cannot see. And here's the thing. Why can we see it? Because we care. We care about kids. We love Mother Earth. We are protectors. We're shepherds. She is the female brain. That's all it is. So let's go to more recent. Let's just go ahead to the school shootings in Florida. Let's go ahead to the bombings in Austin. I've said all this stuff was going to happen 8 years ago. I said they were going to be false flags. They're going to be continuing and ongoing. And one day you're going to have an event that's going to change the world. And that will probably be a tidal wave, an e-impulse, a war. It doesn't matter. They'll choose something. And it'll be not just a Japan tidal wave. I'm talking about something that will wipe out the entire east and southern coast, probably. And that will be done with directed energy technologies. They'll probably say an asteroid hit. And if you study reality, we know that NASA is nothing but a bunch of paid liars. I don't believe anything that they've ever told us. Why would Satan... the first place that Satan would take possession of is the schools. The second place the churches, then the schools. Then the third place would be science. And we know that we go back to Max Planck and Galileo, they believed in theories. Even Newton and all of them, they were part of societies, most of them. Now, Max Planck was a real scientist. These guys are gone. They're history. That's why they showed Stephen Hawking's dead, right? So, hawk is a symbol of the all-seeing eye. It's a. If you haven't figured that one out yet, okay. Stephen is getting even. That's what secret societies are all about. It's about hating God, hating Christian, hating Jews, calling themselves Jews, but then killing Jews. Calling themselves Christians, but then killing Christians. Like Bush did, right? Unbelievable. Bush did it. Now we have a government that I don't even know what Obama is. I think if he stepped into let's don't even get into that. We know that Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton are probably the two most evil people on planet Earth. And all the Satanists, they bow down to these people. They're Satan's minions. Satan's number one minion. That's all I can tell you. So let's talk about the real, who wins in these situations? Well, 9/11, they get to police the airports. They get to say that people are terrorists in the United States. The courts win. They make a lot of money. How was I thrown into a scientific experiment, brain mapping program, mind control, V2K? Well, they claimed that we were terrorists. And McCabe and all them got fake FISA warrants, which is associated with ISIS, by the way. And they faked it. They said that I somehow was a terrorist, really. And then they implanted voice-to-skull technology in us without our consent, so that they can control our bodies and make us like Manchurian candidate terrorists. And it didn't work on some of us. The only ones it's working on are the kids. That's it. It's not working on the adults very well. Matter of fact, most men, if they're challenged and they got voices in their head, they'd rather kill themselves. But that's working because men my age are killing themselves. I had one do that in my apartment, and I know for a fact that there was a lot of ultra-low frequencies in the house. There was an Antifa guy across the street. He moved out the day after the murder, which I call a murder. The guy killed himself, but I know for a fact that there was an Antifa agent across the street. Seriously. And also, who wins? Who wins in all of this? Well, the courts win. The left wins. You police the states. You police the schools. You have an excuse to get rid of alternative media channels, which they call conspiracy theorists. They associate conspiracy theorists with people who bomb and shoot things. That's what the psychologists are being trained to do, so that they can throw us in a mental ward and do some experiments on us and try to figure out, why did we not accept the V2K? Why didn't we go kill when we were told to kill? Why didn't we, so they want to be able to experiment on some, just like Hitler did. And this is what our government's doing, because we don't have a government 1933. You need to read that, Federal Emergency Reserve Act. You have just a bunch of central bankers that treat us like a bunch of cattle and oranges. We're commodities. And until you take back your divinity, everything that I'm saying that's happening to me, I assure you, since Google came out in 1998, matter of fact, I worked across the street from Google. I could throw a rock at Google. And I mean literally throw a rock and hit Google. I was in Palo Alto, and I worked across the street from Google. I can almost skip and be there. I know who these people are. They're military people. Goo-oog is separating goat from sheep. That's what it's all about. Same thing Hitler did. He separated his Aryans from the Jews, which were the real Christians, by the way. So it's all about killing Christians. It's the same thing that's been going on. Julius Caesar It's not a coincidence that this guy is named Mark Antony, because it's the same thing Julius Caesar did. He was killing the real Christians. Okay? He was dominating the world. July, August, Julius Augustus. Wake up, people. They even have a month named after him. July is what, the 7th? And August is what, the 8th? September is there 9? But we know in ancient history, Sept is 7, Oct is 8, Nov is 9, and Dec is 10. We know that. So we've even been lied to about our calendar. They don't even tell you the numerology associated with the month. That there used to be a lunar calendar instead of a solar calendar. The lunar calendar is way more accurate. That's why you have to have daylight savings times, because their calendar is not accurate at all. When you tell a lie, there's always a loophole. The moon is the electromagnetic force of the earth. Okay, it's the feminine energy, and it's more accurate than the sun. That's why they called Satan Kronos. He will steal not only your mind, your body, your truth, your children, your government. He will make you bow down to money instead of unify people. But he also steals time. He turns time backwards. That's why Rome in Gematria is 51, which is the opposite of the letter O. The letter O is the clock. Jesus, the female. The symbol O is the music of the spheres. That's why planets are circles. Okay? So they're spheres. And he takes that time and turns it backwards. So let's get to let's say it again. Who wins in these events? Well, the courts get to prosecute targeted individuals. They get to falsely accuse them of crimes they didn't commit, just like O.J. Simpson, same thing. You know how many men are in prison because O.J. committed a crime? O.J. commits a crime, everybody's got to pay. That is a dictator society. This guy blows up a building, everybody's got to pay. The guy shoots up a school, everybody on earth has got to pay. Right? They blow up 9/11, everybody on earth has got to be searched and sieged and called a terrorist, and they're guilty until proven innocent. Everybody's got to pay. That is not the law of God, guys. Period. It is not. And guess who's blowing up these? Guess who's doing all the crimes? Satan's minions. It's that simple. Now, let's go to Voice to Skull. We know Hollywood is under mind control. They're all V2K'd. They're all under MK Ultra, Project Bluebeam. All of them. Every single one of them. And then they got a watcher watching the watchers. I was reading the book of Enoch. It talks about the watchers will be destroyed. We know who the watchers are. That's Hollywood. That's secret societies. They're always watching you, the government, governing of the mental, watching your brain, scanning your brain, scanning your house, making sure, hey, he's having sex, he's masturbating. They're spying on you. There's nothing you can't do without them knowing what you're doing. So, I believe, in my personal opinion, you believe what you want to believe, but these events are created for a reason. Number one, to tear down the United States, to police everything, to police your schools, to take away all your freedoms, liberties, all your rights, to make everybody pay for what they actually did, to separate the goats from the sheep, and mainly prosecute the guys that are the true Christians through the courts, just like they did Jesus Christ. Remember, they prosecuted Jesus through the courts. The lawyers and the judges are the ones that killed Christ. Period. Those were called high priests. And you know what he said? He said, well, what am I supposed to say? Forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. Because they're all under mind control. All of them. The judges, the courts, the minions, the lawyers. You either accept Satan's mind control and you have a job and a career, or you are homeless like Jesus was and you have nothing. And Jesus was homeless. And guess what they're doing today? Killing homeless people.